know, whether you're in the majority or the minority, I don't think it affects your lifestyle that much. You could say, well, as a majority member, particularly if you're in leadership, you might have to spend a little bit more time in Washington, but in all reality, your schedule is about the same, and that is you're up in Washington 2 to 3, 4 days, sometimes 5 days a week. You're all over your district, whether you have a large geographic district or not. You're on the road. You're flying up and flying back. You have constant meetings. Scheduling is actually one of the most important jobs in a congressional office. Brianna Foran, for example, our scheduler, knows where I am 24 hours a day, Saturdays and Sundays included. She's available all night long. We text each other and say, hey, what about this? In fact, yesterday over the it was a holiday weekend, I asked her about the details of a funeral. You know, not directly political, but, you know, whatever my schedule it somewhat is. And so scheduling is very difficult. I'd say for every meeting you take, probably 3 or 4 people wanted to meet with you, but fortunately for everybody, they don't have to meet with me. We have had up to 4 offices in Georgia, and people, you know, come in there all the time with issues regarding Social Security or veterans, VA type stuff, or passport issues, anything that can happen to the federal government. Anybody kind of falls through the federal government crack, if you will. We are the resource of last choice, but we help them. Sometimes they need a lawyer, but we can be the surrogate for that. Scheduling is very difficult. As soon as you hit the ground in Washington, D.C., I'd say it's like floating down the rapids of a river. Sometimes all you can do is react to the schedule because you've got a lineup of people from different groups wanting to see you in Washington. You got votes on the floor, you got committee meetings, and the meetings that you're having aren't always the same. Like if you can imagine going to see a pediatrician, what his clients are children. If you want to see an oncologist, his clients all have cancer. That's not the case in Congress. You know, one group is educators, the next group is agriculture, the next group are physicians. They have a myriad of issues that have nothing in common, and you got to go from one type to the next. But you know, in terms of the lifestyle, it is very demanding. I don't know of anybody in Congress who's not working anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a week, often more than that. Generally, your vacations are blended into something political, either congressional or just straight, you know, re-election kind of politics. One of the things that is a reality that people don't talk about is the congressional pay. You know, it's 2015. We have not had a cost of living increase or pay raise since 2009. It's very difficult in Washington, D.C. No one wants to pay Congress. I understand that. But the reality is having a house back home in your home state and in Washington is a stretch for the average member of Congress. As a result, probably 60 to 70 members sleep on their office floor. I did it for 10 years. It has some advantages, mostly that you know, you don't have to buy a house. But the truth of the matter is, you know, think about some of these people. You know, cannot afford it at all, and I don't know. Just a lot of members sleep on the floor of their office, and no one really wants to talk about that. But I think it's a reflection of how difficult it is to maintain 2 dwellings in today's society and how much things cost. You know, here in Savannah, Georgia, a house that cost $200,000 would probably sell for $600,000 all day long in Washington, D.C., and that would be located way outside of the city itself.